Not bad.
You're quite skilled.
Shamir, what a rare treat for you to start a conversation for a change.
Is it?
It's not possible you came to ask for my help with something. Could it be you want to become closer friends?
Don't flatter yourself.
That's cruel. You could have at least hesitated a beat before answering.
Last we spoke, you were questioning whether or not you belong here.
You remember that, do you? Well, yes, I do think this is where I belong. For now. I have things that I want to achieve, and I can only do that by staying right where I am. That said, once I've done what I'm here to do, it's hard to say whether I'll stay or leave. I might end up searching for another place to belong.
That is true for most people. Life would be tedious if we knew what lies ahead. Whether or not you belong in a place can change at any time. As soon as you settle in somewhere new, you begin to question your decision.
That's true. I guess trying things out and searching for our own path is what life is about. And both of our paths have led us here. This is where we belong right now. Even if it's just a temporary coincidence, we should cherish it while it lasts.
What are you going on about now?
I'm just saying we should make the most of this time we have together, since we don't know how long it'll last. Once it's gone, it might never come back. Right?
Is this your sad attempt at flirting? I will admit, you're an interesting one.
Your swordplay is captivating, exceedingly graceful, yet mindful to guard the weaknesses that often accompany such elegant flourishes.
Lawrence, are you spying on me? That's not very noble.
It was rude of me to watch so long in silence, I do confess. Yet I could not bring myself to interrupt. I believe that such a deep grasp of swordplay can only mean that you have experienced the privilege of a noble birth.
You just don't let up. I didn't inherit my sword skills, Lawrence. I trained. I earned them.
One's lineage does not affect one's talent or tenacity, to be sure. But a noble is raised in an environment more conducive to the honing of martial skill. Those brought up in the lap of luxury are blessed with a far wider variety of options for their futures. And a noble raised in that fashion is better equipped to keep the peace for the common folk.
Sure. And besides keeping the peace, what are the nobility's other duties?
Matters of state for a start. A noble has the ability to declare war, for instance. A commoner does not. And a noble who carries the blessing of a crest has even more power. One move from such an individual can exert massive influence. Of course, such influence must only be wielded with discretion. It is a noble's duty to use power wisely.
Whether or not it's their duty, if they don't use their power wisely, the people will revolt.
Indeed. The motivation to revolt can only come from discontent with the nobility. But if the people are well protected and enjoy peaceful and happy lives, there is no such motive. Thus, if such a revolt does occur, the nobility must be held accountable.
The nobility must be held accountable, I never thought I'd find myself agreeing with you. Maybe you're not as bad as I thought. In fact, I'll let you in on a secret. I am from a noble family, House Karen of Fargus. I used to be known as Cassandra Rubens Karen. Perhaps you've heard that name before?
House Karen? It cannot be. Are you the one who was driven from Fargus for some grave crime?
So people say. However, I didn't do anything wrong. Anyway, how do you rate me now? On one hand, I am a noble, but I'm also a fugitive.
I see. Well then. Will you do me the honor of a bout?
So you'd like to suss me out with your sword? Sure, I'll take you on.
Shamir.
Raphael?
All right! That went better than I thought. You make funny sounds when you're scared.
I wasn't scared. Forget that happened. Still, I'm impressed. You managed to sneak up on me. Not many can do that.
It's 'cause I practiced that in-out-out breathing you showed me. I practiced until I passed out. It was worth it, though. I've been able to get real close to enemies lately without them noticing. I think I pretty much got it figured out. Sneaking up on you is a good sign.
True. To be honest, I didn't think you had it in you. I never thought you'd be able to suppress that unbearably palpable presence of yours. I respect anyone who could learn so much in such a short period of time. You might even be ready for a recon mission.
Recon? With you? And me? Together?
Why the surprise? I said you were ready.
Wow! I never thought I'd get to go scouting with you! I guess that practice really is paying off. Whoa! Was that a smile?
Calm down, Raphael. Are you really that excited to go with me? Your presence may have dimmed, but your emotions are hitting me like a tidal wave.
Oh, sorry. Is there a way to breathe and hide those too?
No. That requires different training. From someone else. I'll keep you informed about the recon mission.
Okay, great! Looking forward to it!
Are you praying, Ignatz? Are you concerned about something?
A little. I'm coming to accept that I will never be an artist. I'm self-taught, so my style and technique are probably all wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. Besides, how could I persuade my father? I can't even imagine his reaction. He'd disown me.
It takes courage to stray from the path that has been set out for you. It's never easy. I'm in a similar position. I've been carrying out my adoptive father's wishes up until this point. But it's never a bad thing to have dreams. That's how I feel, at least. I can't imagine a life in which I'd given up on my dreams. How could anyone find happiness in that? Even with your father's demands, you can still work toward one small dream at a time.
You know, I suppose you're right. My dream of being an artist gives me the energy to go on. You're really wise, Mercedes.
Oh, goodness. That's not how most people would describe me. I just don't want you to give up on your art. Besides, I genuinely do want to see your painting of the goddess.
Really? I'm pleased to hear you say so. You said you're in the same position as I am. What did you mean by that?
My future has been decided for me as well. I'm to be married off to a nobleman.
What?
Is it really that surprising? I think many young women face the same fate.
So, will you get married?
I suppose I haven't given it much thought. Whatever may happen, I'm sure everything will work out in the end if I don't give up on my dreams.
Everything will work out in the end. Mercedes, you're amazing. I think that whatever you do, wherever you go, you'll help a lot of people. You're so kind. I know you can... Oh.
What's wrong, Ignatz? You have a strange look on your face.
For my whole life, I've wanted to paint the goddess, but I never could. Whatever shape I gave her, she never seemed quite right. But it's just come to me.
It's wonderful how inspiration can strike so suddenly. Quick, paint before you lose it.
I will. Will you help me?
I'd be happy to help, but I'm not sure what I can do.
Don't you see? The goddess I imagined and tried to paint so many times. She's you. I have to get my supplies. Stay right there.
Well, to say such a thing directly before the altar, that must be some kind of sin. I'll say an extra prayer for him.
To put it plainly, no, I do not dislike you.
Really? Oh, I'm so glad I asked.
So he does care. Why were you asking me about the world outside Fodlan before?
There's so much I have yet to see. Even these days, when it's ravaged by conflict, the world is so diverse. Buildings and landscapes and geography differ vastly from place to place. There's so much variety within Fodlan, and the outside world must be even more varied. I feel so inspired just thinking about it. So, I'd like to travel there someday.
I see. You should go.
You think so?
I told you before, in order to know the world, you have to experience it for yourself. There is much to see. Even simple things. Flowers, food, varieties that don't exist in Fodlan. New smells, new tastes. I could tell you about them, but you would only imagine them, not comprehend them. If you want true understanding, go out into the world. See it with your eyes, feel it with your skin. Speak to its people. Then you will know.
Yes. Perhaps so.
Is there something else?
You've never talked to me like this before, Shamir.
It's nothing.
Sorry.
Hearing you talk about exploring the world made me think about what I should do with myself.
Do you have plans for the future? After the war?
Not yet. You're ahead of me there. I must find my own path.
Ahead of you, Shamir? I highly doubt that.
If you have time for empty compliments, you have time to encourage me instead.
Yes, of course. Shamir, may you find success in everything you do.
Thank you, Ignatz. I'll do my best.
It was so sunny this morning, but now it's absolutely pouring.
Did you hear the thunder just now? Good thing we got all the clothes indoors before the skies opened up. I apologize for troubling you with this task.
Don't worry about it. I was just passing by and thought I could help. I know how frustrating it is to have your newly dried clothes soaked by rain.
Oh.
What's wrong? We managed to keep all of the clothes dry, didn't we?
It's just odd. Every time it's my turn to wash the clothing, there's a sudden downpour. Surely it must just be an inconvenient coincidence. But I can't help feeling as though I'm somehow to blame for it.
Ah, I see. That probably is your fault.
Wow. You're even harsher than I am.
You have a crust of Karen, don't you?
I do, yes, but... Hold on a moment. How did you know that?
I can just tell. I have a crust of Karen too. And I've noticed that, whenever I need dry weather, there's rain. Don't you think it's our crusts making the rain fall upon us?
How had I never connected this? This is quite a revelation. A crest affecting the weather.
Well, I don't know how true it is. There are only the two of us, which is a pretty small sample of people.
I suppose that's true. So, we must test our hypothesis. Maybe we can find someone who tends to bring the sunshine around. That would be especially handy for helping out with the wash.
Now there's an idea.
This one ought to do.
What are you doing, Cyril?
I'm picking out logs to carry back and chop into firewood.
You can't expect to carry all these by yourself. Let me help.
No, I got it. I don't want you getting hurt. Logs are heavy sometimes.
I'm well aware. You should accept the help being offered. I'm older and wiser. I know best.
Lysithea, you seem a bit shaky. You okay?
Yep, totally fine. I'm just kind of losing my grip on this log. Well, that wasn't much help as it turned out. I didn't realize they'd be that heavy. I couldn't even walk in a straight line.
I told ya, logs are heavy sometimes. It's hard work if you're not used to it.
I feel foolish.
Well, if you've learned your lesson, I'm gonna go carry the other logs.
Hang on. Shouldn't you rest for a bit?
Wood still needs chopping. I got a bunch of other stuff needs doing before sundown, too.
In that case, let me help you carry the chopped wood.
You know how rough firewood is? You'll get splinters if you carry it with your soft hands.
You can't be serious.
You're just not cut out for this kind of work. Look at your hands. They're like a princess's. No point in you learning to chop wood, is there? You don't need to know how to do that stuff. You and me live in different worlds. There's no point lowering yourself down into mine.
Our worlds aren't so different. We're together right now, aren't we?
Sure, we live in the same places now, but that's not gonna last forever. Don't see how it could. Unless I actually turned into your little brother or something.
Hey, Cyril. What are you up to? Working?
You're in the way, Hilda. Move.
How rude. I'm not in the way.
Are you just here to goof off?
No, I'm here to feed the horses, actually.
Uh-huh. Where's the fodder, then?
I wasn't sure where to find it. Can you help with that?
I'll take care of it. I'm cleaning the place anyways.
Oh, thanks. It's great to have you on the job. I know you'll handle it perfectly.
Yeah, well, I don't like it when I feel like I'm not doing my part.
You're always so focused on the task at hand. Sometimes I almost forget you're Almiran. I always thought they were a rough and unreliable sort of people. Though, you're not really like the rest of them. You seem normal for the most part.
Rough and unreliable, huh?
My family has to fight against Almiran sometimes. Not that my father or brother ever clued me in on what the battles were like. But I do know that armies from Almyra will attack without reason and break treaties and tell lies. Everyone says they're a bunch of brutes.
Yeah? Huh.
Am I boring you? I'm talking about your people.
Those aren't my people. I was just born there.
Okay, let's turn the tables. How do the people of Fodlan seem to you, from an Almiran perspective?
Huh.
That look on your face. Are you okay?
I can't tell you what I think of folks from Fodlan. I don't really got an impression of them altogether.
What's that supposed to mean?
There's all sorts of different people everywhere. You can't say everybody of one place is any one thing. It's no different when you're talking about Fodlan or Almyra or any place else. And wherever you go, you see people in power keep the weak ones down.
Do you need something? Let's hear it.
Oh, no, I don't need anything. I was just hoping to talk to you, Felix.
When I said you could be near me, I meant on the battlefield. You're pushing it a little too far. You better not start calling me Emil.
You know, I'm not just using you as a stand-in for my brother. I don't mean to upset you. But I've come to realize that you two don't have that much in common after all.
I don't understand. Why are you hanging around me if not to replace your brother?
It's not that I want to be near Emil, but I want to be near you.
What?
How embarrassing. It must sound like I'm coming on to you. Regardless, you've made it clear that you don't want me around.
No. It's not that.
Good. Then I'll continue to spend time at your side.
What a perplexing creature.
What's that? Did you say something? Never mind that. Why don't we go out for a nice cup of tea?
I can't think of a reason to refuse your invitation, so I suppose I have to accept.
Phew. Good work. Should we call it a day?
Thank you. Yes, let's. Catherine, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you something.
Let me guess. You're going to ask why you're so bad at predicting my attacks.
When I expect an attack from above, you surprise me from below. When I expect a jab, I get a sweep. You seem to anticipate my anticipation.
It's probably because you're a straightforward, honest person. You're reading my movements and trying to calculate what I'll do next.
That has always seemed the most sound strategy when engaging in combat, yes.
Right. Well, I take that anticipation and turn it against you. I use my eyes and the tilt of my sword to mislead you. Catching your opponent off guard is the trick to staying alive in combat. You've got to keep yourself alive if you want to protect Lady Rhea, right?
Your dedication to Lady Rhea's safety is truly inspiring, Catherine.
You flatter me.
My dream is to become a knight and protect my king, no matter the cost. There is no greater purpose I can serve. Although your fealty is sworn to Lady Rhea, you are the ideal knight I aspire to be.
Admire me to your heart's content, but I'm...
Catherine, I'd be honored if you would make me your squire.
My what now? Oh, you're far too straight-laced to be my squire.
However you might judge me, I'm quite serious about this.
All right then, why not? Let's start by teaching you how to flirt with handsome men.
Pardon me? That can't possibly be where you want to start.
Nah, I was just kidding. I wish I knew how to flirt with handsome men. Instead, let's teach you to lighten up.
Ah, understood.
I was trying to catch you off guard, but you managed to block it. Not too shabby, Professor. Oh, come on. Look at the blade I threw. It's just a wooden training sword. At worst, you could have gotten a bruise or perhaps a splinter. Let's agree it was funny and move on. Aw, poor thing. Aren't you used to getting hurt? You've been in your fair share of battles. Besides, I knew you'd dodge in time. I told you before that I was going to observe you. Since then, I've been watching you. I know what you're capable of. I took steps to make myself invisible, so I could observe you without being detected. I hardly let you out of my sight. After extensive research, I've concluded that you really are first-rate. Your sword skills are impeccable, you're a gifted educator, you clearly love working with the students. Someone with all of your exceptional qualities should not exist, but here you are. At first, I thought Gerald was the reason for Lady Rhea's interest in you. But no, Lady Rhea knew exactly what she was doing when she singled you out. Unfortunately, I can't hope to emulate you, let alone wield the sword of the Creator. So my plan of imitating you for Lady Rhea's attention has come to nothing. I didn't say that. When we rescue Lady Rhea, I'll provide her a full report of your activities. Hopefully, then I'll be in her good graces. Oh, and don't think you can avoid being watched. I won't let you out of my sight.
It's been 10 years. Can I move on yet? Ugh, never mind. I know what you'd say. In a sense, someone who's long since passed. Another mercenary I fought alongside. They were killed 10 years ago when Dagda was in conflict with the Empire. It's all I can focus on lately. To be honest, I blame you. I'm just teasing. I know it's not your fault. You just remind me of him. You give off a similar air. It's uncanny. You even have the same inflection, which makes no sense because we only ever spoke Dagdan. I don't know what it is, but you feel the same to me. I guess you just remind me of the past. Please, it's not your fault. It's my fault for getting caught up in memories. Still, you always remember your first love, right? That's enough of that. There are more relevant topics to discuss. Good question. The world is completely open to me. Your next move seems apparent. But who knows where I'll end up? Though I may have done enough traveling for one lifetime. I like the idea of having a permanent home. And after all my time here, I've grown quite fond of Fodlan.
Hello, Professor Manuela. I wish you to know that I have heard ever so much about your talents.
Whatever are you talking about, Flame?
Singing! Why, you are wonderfully skilled at it, are you not? Why, I have even overheard people saying your voice is akin to the singing of a goddess.
It makes me happy to hear. But who told you that?
Oh, the students are always speaking of it, which got me to thinking, I may be the only person in all of the Academy who's never heard your beautiful voice in song. So, I was wondering, Manuela, might you sing a little something for me?
Your request is touching, but I can't perform on such short notice. My voice is an instrument and requires proper gentle care. However, the stories are true. I was once the leader of the Middle Franc troop, but that was a long time ago.
Middle Franc? What do those words mean precisely?
You've never heard of the Middle Franc troop? Before the war, it was the single most popular opera company in the imperial capital. I used to sing on stage with them. I was the star, in fact.
Oh, wow. In all of Enbar? They must not have been around when I was living there.
You used to live in Enbar?
Indeed. Although I was quite a bit younger at the time. It is where I was born, as a matter of fact.
Oh, well, you must have been too young to hear about us.
Yes, that could be. And what precisely is the function of an opera troupe?
You don't know what an opera troupe is? Well, it's a group of performers like myself who act out stories on stage in front of a big audience. Stories with lots of singing.
I understand now. I certainly have experience in the fine art of storytelling. There is often singing as a part of story time for the children at the monastery.
That is darling, Flame. But I'm not sure it's quite the same thing as an opera. You see, operas are performed in grand theaters with orchestral accompaniment. Everyone attending wears their finest. It is a very special occasion.
Theaters, they're called? You mean to say that there are buildings exclusively used for telling stories?
You've never even heard of a theater? You're an intelligent girl, Flame, and the world is full of wonders. You have a lot left to discover.